This is Anna Sophia, a very useful winning racehorse herself. She's a black type mare by Oasis Dream. She's had several foals before, already proving to be very useful racehorses. One of which we followed last year, Real Cecil by Havana Grey. She was a very useful 2-year-old and an exciting prospect as a 3-year-old. Annie is currently in foal to which we manage stud Sergei Prokofiev, an exciting new stallion who is having his second crop of foals this season, and she's due on the 24th of February, and we're very excited to be following the foal's career and how it's born and everything. So stay tuned because she's really not that far away. Late night feed for Annie. I skip her out and feed her at 10 o'clock every night. As you can see, her belly looks primed to have a foal. She's nice and deep, hollow in the flank. It looks like her tail head's raised a bit. That's where the ligaments have relaxed in the pelvis. And her udder looks ready. The milk bar's ready for the baby. So when the mares are close to foaling, they all get hand grazed. They don't go out together. We don't risk them getting kicked. Annie loves her grass with her friend Mayberry, and I got my nieces and nephews keeping an eye on me. As you can tell, we still got a lot of wax underneath her udder, so she is getting very close. Aren't you, Annie? Every Thursday we weigh every single horse on the yard. Mares, foals, in-foal mares. She's weighing in at 658 kilograms. Really important to weigh them because you get to know their average weight, and then also once they foal you learn how much their weight should be post-foaling. We also weigh the foals within 12 hours of birth and gauge how much weight gain they have a week. And it does also help us how much fluid the horse has lost once they foal. That's it, Annie, isn't it? So this is also a Sergei Prokofiev foal. He's a nice colt off this mare. Sergei Prokofiev is by Scat Daddy, a very good American stallion, very popular. And he retired to stud in 2021, so his first set of yearlings this year, and he's having his second crop of foals this year. As you can see, he's a nice looking foal. He's compact, well covered, and although chestnut out of a bay mare, and he is a bay stallion, I have seen a couple of chestnuts, so maybe it could be a stallion trait, but colour is never a problem if they're a useful racehorse. Here we have our feed room. All the feed is in the bins. Every horse has their own bucket. Each bucket has 24 hours worth of feed, so there's no worries about any horse getting the wrong feed because it literally goes straight by the horse's stable. Annie is currently having 1 scoop of stud cubes. These are a basic compound feed. And she's also having 400 grams of stud balancer. This is where she's going to get all her vitamins and minerals to carry on lactating and producing foal. And she also has some Alpha A, which is a great source of fibre when they're not quite getting all the turnout they need. She's only on a scoop because she is quite heavy, and when she foals she'll have her feed upped to help her lactate more. She also has a vitamin E supplement to keep her fertility and lactation good when she does foal. But yeah, we feed every horse as an individual. If the mare is light, then we would feed them a little bit more. If they're heavily in foal, we probably would cut them out. And once they fold, we tend to up it a little bit more, especially at this time of year, because they don't have the grass nutrition you have in the spring and summer. So that's our feeding regime. Poor old Annie. She's still holding on. She's now got milk running from her teats, which is not ideal. We don't want you running your milk because most of the first milk is colostrum, which is very important for the foal's future vitality. So when they get close to foaling, I put their tails up every night, mainly because when they foal, one, it keeps their tails clean. Two, I can judge how the foal's coming. I always do check when the foal's starting to come. We check how the foal is presenting. But if everything's all well, ideally in the best situation, you'd let a foal on her own. And with her tail up out the way, it just enables us to do that. Whereas if her tail was everywhere, you wouldn't see the first bit of presentation off of the foal. So we're just going to put the bandage at the top of her tail here. She's a good girl to do. Tuck the tail in it too. Good girl. Like so. We use the stretchy cotton tail bandages, and each mare has their own until they fold, and then they can be reused. Some people use vet wrap, some people use tape. I just prefer these because they got the stretch in them so that they don't damage the tail itself. And we just bandage it like that. It's typical that my bandage is being silly. I'll just go halfway down each bandage sector. She's getting quite close now, so she's going to have the tail bandage on each night. Partly so she can get used to it, but also so we can definitely see when the little one starts making itself presence. So you can see the whole tail's wrapped up nice and neatly. It doesn't hurt her, doesn't affect her. It just helps us to see what's happening without having to interfere too much. Lubrication up there. Good girl. Alright, sweetie. The foal's coming in the diving position, exactly how you want them to be. And I'm just going to put a tiny bit of pressure on. Steady. Steady. Once the foal on the ropes. Good girl. There we go. Good baby. Foal's already breathing. I'm just cleaning its nasal passage. Oh, good girl, honey. Clever girl. Yeah. There we have a very happy mum. Finally got her baby out. Just letting the foal have the last bit of blood pass through her umbilical cord, because the adrenaline of giving birth produces a bit more blood flow, and that last bit of blood is quite useful. The next question is, what sex are you? So we're going to have a look. We're going to pull this bag away, and we're going to look at the back passage. We have a filly, a lovely big filly by Sagi Coffee Off, and a very happy mummy. Good girl, Annie. I always give the dam a Butte, which is a painkiller. This just allows, by the time the foal's up and ready to drink, she'll be much more comfortable. She'll drop her milk much more happier. Let me just give you this, Annie. I know. Open. Good girl. Just something that we do, make it more comfortable from there. Right, we're going to kick her up. Naturally, when she gets up, the umbilical cord will break. Come on then, Annie. Come on then, sweetie. Up you get, darling. Good girl. Up. Good girl. She's just got up, so the umbilical cord is naturally broken with the mare getting up. And she's now going to lick her foal off, which is exactly what you want in any brood mare, is to attend and nurse to their foal. Good girl, Annie. Here's a good baby. I'm just going to spray the foal's umbilical cord. We do this a few times to help it dry up and keep it clean. Here's a good baby. Here's a good girl, Annie. I'm just currently tying up the loose bag behind the mare. Just puts a tiny bit of weight and pressure for her to cleanse her placenta. Hey, such a good girl. She's a good baby. We have a wriggly one. As you can see, when they're born, their hooves are very soft and they're very flaky. And within sort of a few hours, by the time they're standing on these, they get all hard. Here. We've just taken out all the wet from foaling and giving her a fresh bale. And it won't be long before Foley tries to start getting up. Annie's just cleaned. That means she's expelled her placenta. So I've just taken off her tail bandage, because having her tail down will help stop the foal hopefully going between the back legs the wrong way. And it looks like little one wants to get up. But these are the special shots. You can just about see the foal nuzzling mum and just making a funny action with her mouth, like she's wanting to suckle. Means she's ready for the milk bar, really. Is it funny, Annie? Good little bubba. Right, we gotta try and get up. So as foal's nearly ready to get up and find the milk bar, I'm just gonna give it, utter a quick wipe. Good girlie. With some sterile teat wipes. Alright, sweetie. And we're just gonna test her milk in a minute with the refractometer and test she's got some good colostrum. Okay. So we will just swap hands. This is what we call a refractometer or a Brix, and it basically measures the levels for the mare's milk. If I can try and get you on the right camera, you might be able to read it. But basically there's a scale there, and it's all in blue. When we put some milk on this, you should get a light marker and a dark marker. We'll be able to measure her colostrum. Okay, so I've just put a drop of milk on the refractometer. This is just going to measure the colostrum levels. If I'm really clever, I might be able to somehow... Okay, so you're reading where the dark meets the light. Oh, it's gone out of focus, but it was 23, so 23% is good colostrum. And there we go. And Annie's best friend foaled half an hour later to a lovely colt by Getaway. Just trying to get her latched onto the udder. Put my finger up towards the udder. So she's latching on my finger. Oh, love her. You gotta go a bit closer. Annie's helping me by licking her. There we go. I'm finding the milk bar. And there we have it. We're latched on for the first time. Milk bar. As you can see, the foal's already looking a lot stronger. Already naturally going on Mum's udder. And Annie's being a very good girl. Aren't you, darling? Here's Annie's foal. As you can see, she's just a little bit laxed in her hind tendons here. These will all tighten up. Very, very common problem with foals. And within a week or two they'll tighten up. If she needs a little bit more support, we'll get the farrier out and put some slippers on her, which are basically foal extensions, and they just help support her feet on the floor so that they strengthen up behind. We're going to weigh Annie's foal for the first time. Always really important to weigh them. And she's a whopping 54 kilos, which is a really good weight. We're going to weigh Annie as well to see how much weight she's lost. Good girl. Steady girlies. 572. We're also weighing the placenta of Annie, and that weighs 3 kilos. So Annie weighed 658 kilos prior to foaling, and post foaling she is now 572 kilos. If you take her foal weight and her placenta weight off her original weight, she has actually lost about 29 kilos in just fluid after taking off the foal and the placenta weight. So mainly that would be fluid and a little bit of weight and condition from the stress. But yeah, it just goes to show they can lose quite a bit from just foaling. And Harry's here helping me do the mathematics. Can anyone spot the foal? Annie has buried her baby. Can anyone spot the foal? So we're just about to do Annie's foal's vet check. We're just going to listen to her heart. Check there's no murmurs. Good.
All good.
And then the vet's going to just check the foal's umbilicus.
Oh yeah, good. Okay, yeah.
Check if there's any hernia and check the umbilical is dried up.
Okay, joints.
Check the joints, there's nothing too abnormal. She's a little bit lax behind, but that's nothing to worry about at the moment. We all know about that. Oh, face is killing.
Right.
Now the vet's just going to check.
Quick look in the eyes.
Yep. And the mouth, see if she's undershot or overshot at all. And any feeling for cleft palate.
Nope, all good.
So, the next stage is to take some blood off the foal to test its IgG levels. We check she has had enough tacit transfer from the colostrum. Good baby. And this will just check if she's had enough antibodies off the colostrum. If she hasn't, then we shall give her a plasma transfusion to create a little bit more antibodies until her immune system naturally kicks in. And now she's going to have a tetanus antitoxin. She's a good baby. Oh,
sorry, so mean. There we go. Well done.
And there we go. That's the foal check done. So here we have the placenta. A bit disgusting, I know, but it's very important to check it's all intact. So that's where the foal came out, the pregnant horn. And over here is the non-pregnant horn. Sometimes they can lose the tip of the horn, of the placenta, into the horn, and that's the biggest risk we have, is tears and little bits of placenta being left in the mare. So we check the placenta's all intact, which it is, which means hopefully Annie will stay healthy. So this is Annie's foal's IgG test result. It's 6.3. The normal level would be 8+, so we are just 1.7 below that, but it's enough to say we need to give her a plasma transfusion to give her the best void of health and prevent any further diseases until her natural immune system kicks in.
So running a litre of hyperimmune plasma into this foal has a IgG level which is slightly below the recommended amount. If the IgG levels are low, the foal is less likely to be able to mount a good response to any infection. So these foals are more prone to getting septic joints, septicemias, diarrheas, pneumonias in the first couple of months of life. So the idea is if we give plasma which contains antibodies which have been collected from adult horses, we help give the foal a good chance of fighting any infections in the early stages of its life.
As you can see, she's getting a lot better. She's a bit tired now from her walk, but she's actually hitting the ground correctly, and we're trying to get those toes, sorry little one, trying to get those toes hitting the floor, not the heels. So you can see she's gradually improving, and she might get some extensions on to help her, but she's a lot better than what she was in a short space of time. This leads up to the all-weather turnout paddocks. We've got a horse walker there. We've got summer paddocks and winter paddocks. We never graze the summer paddocks because they are mainly grazed by foals and mares in the summer. I literally live here as well, so never get a day off. These are girls that have already actually been covered. They're empty mares that have recently been covered. We've got a hot and cold wash bay with a solarium, which works well for the rehab horses. Our stocks that lead into our isolation barn, which is normally for the horses that are in wet when we've got brood mares. There's Mayberry. Oh, there's Pancake. And I just thought I'd show you these three main stables have all got infrared heated lamps, and this mare is a maiden mare. Annie was in this box, but we can basically dim the lights or make them hotter, and these heat up the whole bed. You know, there's no area where the foal won't lie and not hit that infrared. So really good for foaling in the winter when it's freezing cold, or taking the shock off the mare. It's a bit like us having a bath. It eases all the aches and pains from foaling. And then our weigh scales are here. All the stables are 15 by 15, except for those three are a bit bigger. They're about 16 by 16. And then here's Annie. She's now here. Oh, and Child is fast asleep. But yeah, so Annie's in here. We've got another mare wearing an equiline mask. She's got her foal with her. And she's going to be covered soon, so she's on the equiloom because all of our empty mares have been covered already. So yeah, this is the yard, 5-star hotel.
So areas of white on the limbs are hatched with, these were done neater at home, but you mark them to the height and then hatch them like that. Solid flesh markings are done completely shaded, coloured in. A little bit of white on its nose. And then there's a star on his forehead, mainly on his forehead. So you hatch it like that. And there's a whirl. See the change of hair pattern, there's a whirl just in there. So that gets marked as a black cross. The microchip's gone in here, so we put an M with a circle where the microchip is. Then we just look, you see we've got a whirl here with feathering going down. So that's marked on his throat as a whirl with feathering going down like that. Okay? We've got another whirl here, midway on his neck. We're just going to take the blood. Just taking the blood. This will get sent off for DNA testing. I want to make sure it was never born with a microchip in it. Every year one finds to find a way in there.
There we go. It wasn't that bad, was it?
Some people put some local in, but they always react to the local as well, so you might as well just get on and... Yeah, so it is. Okay.
Do you want
It's got the temperature on there as well. It's only just gone in, so it's not the 38.4 or 101.5.
Annie having her teeth done? As you can tell, the filly's improved dramatically over the last 2 days. Her feet are hitting the floor properly now, just through the controlled exercise. So it means she can go out. We wouldn't have turned her out beforehand. That's just our preference of how we treat limb problems, as we have no control about how they move in the paddocks, and when they're weak they could just cause themselves more injury. But now she's moving much more better, a lot more sturdier on her hind feet. She can go out on the undulation of the paddocks and not have any problems. Already knows she's a racehorse. We got Annie's foal back out, and she's also with Mayberry and Pancake. Crazy child. Does them good to go in groups. It teaches the foal to stay with its mother. Whee! Those two having a play. Happy horses. I hope you all enjoyed this week's Thoroughbred Tales following this lovely little foal, which is now called Luna. And Thoroughbred Tales will continue to bring you progress of her future over the next coming months. And if anyone wants to follow me on Twitter, Jess Westwood, you might even get the odd update there. But for now, it's over and out from me, and I hope you all enjoyed it.